report. We're breaking the program to give you this news alert. Donald Trump has won the Iowa caucus. Associated Press called it over an hour ago. I apologize for being on so late, man, because I thought the polls closed at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is the new poll closing time for Iowa, but apparently the Iowa caucus closes a hour early. So Donald Trump wins the Iowa caucus. Please give me a second to pull up the numbers because the numbers are barely in. The numbers are barely in, and the AP already called it. I'm assuming based off of based solely off of the returns. So let us show you this. Here is the bulletin. Only 2% of the votes in, and they've already called it for Donald Trump. We can see why. 54.8% for Donald Trump, 19% for Haley, 17% for DeSantis. Only 2% of the vote is in. But once all the votes are in the counting, it is likely. Donald Trump's going to win. This is not a surprise when you really think about it, because Donald Trump was leading by double digit in the polls. He was leading by double digits in the polls throughout the entire caucus. Despite DeSantis getting most of the endorsements from the Republican state senators and the Republican state House representatives, Donald Trump easily cruises to reelection. I'm not cruises to reelection, cruises to easy victory in Iowa. The question is, who will fight for second place? The question is, will Nikki Haley get into that place spot? And can she have a good showing to whereas she will have some momentum going into New Hampshire next Tuesday? Or will DeSantis get into that second place spot and potentially keep his campaign alive for just another day? They that we will find out later on. He takes Iowa. Here's the forecast. You can see there on your screen. Live estimates from the New York Times. Trump could get anywhere between 39 to 65% of the vote. If he gets 65% of the vote, that is a major victory. He'll get nearly 2/3 of all the delegates. Because in Iowa, unlike the rest of the Republican primary states. Excuse me, hold on. I forgot to charge my device, but here is the battery dies too quickly. It's not because the computer's battery is bad, because of the gaming PC. The gaming PC, so that need to clean this keyboard because it's filthy. Sorry for the disorientation. And also, if you're hearing those background, my family is here because is more busy around here than usual since my family, we're all snowed in. It's snowing in Memphis. And not just like bare minimum snow, we're talking about 5 inches of snow currently outside. And my sister's likely being off for the rest of the week. Yay. Anyway, live estimate 39 to 65% for Trump. Haley could get anywhere between 12% to 33%. He's getting 21% at this point. DeSantis 10% to 30%. If this again. Now, a lot of people thought that maybe since due to Iowa, that's hilarious. Says the president now you're right. His watch party wants to more, even as the race has already been called for Trump. Most are still caucusing. Campaign staffer said, "Well, and DeSantis is Andrew." It's interesting. Had I known that this would have been called early, I would have called it too. I will call it too. I'm honestly kidding because I thought it was going to be the caucus in at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, because that's the new poll. Because Iowa, the 2020 elections, changed their polling times from 10 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. I didn't know the caucus ended this early. So, if Donald Trump, he gets 12 delegates from this estimate alone. I'm assuming this is from statewide delegates, because 40 delegates are up total in Iowa. In Iowa. In Iowa. And like the rest of the Republican caucus, most of the other Republican primaries or caucuses, it's a congressional district basis. For instance, let's say Tennessee, for example. Tennessee has, I believe, 65. Hold on, let me check the green papers. Let me check the green papers. Oh wow, okay. Oh wow, okay. Well, here's the news alert that you probably don't know. Let me just add this ticker. New Hampshire has docked their delegates. The DNC has docked New Hampshire most of their delegates for their non-compliant January 23rd primary, which is next Tuesday. Hampshire delegates have been reduced from 32 delegates to 10 delegates. Let me just air that for you. There's your screen. Our DNC has docked Iowa, New Hampshire, most of the non-compliant January 23rd primary. If you don't know, the DNC's changed their primary calendar. Iowa is no longer first in the nation for the Democrats. First in the nation should be in New Hampshire, then South Carolina, then Nevada, then Michigan. Switch around. You may have to switch around Nevada and South Carolina, because I forget. It honestly depends on which part goes first. South Carolina's first, and Nevada's. South Carolina's first for the Democrats. Or should say Nevada's first for Democrats. Then South Carolina comes after Nevada. Republicans, South Carolina's first and Nevada's second. But yeah, that's a major report. Major report. And I'm looking at these numbers. Uh, I would not be surprised if Asa Hutchinson announced his withdrawal from his campaign, which that will reduce the Republican field from, because the Republican field, which has already gotten slimmer and slimmer as the months have gone on from that August debate. August slugfest. I would not be surprised at all if Asa Hutchinson dropped out tonight. In fact, I would be surprised if he went on to New Hampshire, as he is currently polling poorly. And by poorly, I mean that let's go in depth here, he's only getting 4 delegates. I mean, four votes. 3 for Chris Christie, despite the fact that Chris Christie dropped out a few days ago. 19% for DeSantis, 70% for Haley, 7% for Bill Ramaswamy, and the rest of these candidates trailing badly. Again, still a lot of votes out. Of course, Donald Trump will win Iowa. Will win Iowa. And let's look here. Forecast for second place. For second place, it could be Haley. It could be DeSantis. Because basically, whoever gets second place, it will help their campaign. Oh, APMEC. Well, thank you for telling me. I was in the bathroom the entire time for nothing. Not besides the Haley, if she finishes in second place in Iowa, that can help her with momentum as she is currently closing the gap with with Donald Trump in New Hampshire to the point where it's now in the single digits. I think the last poll I saw had Trump at 37 and Haley at 33%. DeSantis, if he finishes in second place, it keeps his campaign alive for a bit. But his campaign has just been a complete disaster. Complete disaster. I mean, from the get-go, it was a disaster when instead of announcing a big campaign launch rally like most politicians would, he decided, I'm going to launch it on X. And needless to say, that was a bad idea. A really bad idea. His campaign has gone downhill ever since. Uh, Sorry, I'm just checking something real quick here. Yeah, New Hampshire loses 22 to 32 delegates. 32 delegates. The delegates have been reallocated. So, that means here's what the breakdown is. Due to non-compliant January 23rd primary, the state is down from 32 to 10 delegates. Breakdown, it now cuts the number of delegates, of district delegates from 15 to 7. It takes 60% of it removes at-large delegates are reduced from 5 to 2. Pledge PLEO delegates goes from 3 to 1. And they have completely ducked all the DNC members, all the voting senators, and all the voting House members out of delegates. That means there will be 0 voting DNC members from New Hampshire, even though there are 5, 0 voting senators, which are 2, and 0 voting House members, which are also 2, which is a small state. So here's how the reallocation has gone here. Louisiana, they lost the PLEO unpledged delegate. Maryland gains 1. Michigan loses 1. Puerto Rico gains 4 delegates. Texas loses 1. There are 2 unpledged delegates, 3 unpledged, or I should say unassigned delegates. Other parts of the news had a report on this, considering the fact this was from the same day Chris Christie dropped out. I was surprised that nobody knew about this. So yeah, and I'm going to be right. Actually, I'm going to be right back. Please stand by.